Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Arcane Hulk here today, and I have a bit of an interesting topic of a discussion for you guys, and that is my idea of why I think Destiny 2 should be a prequel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Prequels are usually what the developers do if they're running out of ideas, if they want to just expand the lifespan of a game, even though it's well past its prime. But I think in Destiny it could really work, and I'm going to reference a few other games and how they did it to see or to make sense of how Destiny can make their world and expand on the lore a bit more. Because I think that's what this game needs. This game needs to expand on the lore behind the game. You don't get that much. If you read the Grimoire cards, you do. But if you're someone who doesn't like to go to Bungie.net and read the Grimoire cards, it's really just a lost endeavor on the developers because people aren't really utilizing it, and Bungie sure as heck is not utilizing it to its fullest potential. So I guess we'll get right into it. Now, just a brief disclaimer, these are just my ideas, my theories, and speculation. None of this has been confirmed, none of this is really being talked about. So just take it with a grain of salt. If you don't think it's going to happen, that's fine. I personally don't think it will. This is something I just want to happen. But let's get right into it. So first, when you look at the vanilla Destiny game, the base of it, we are in the last safe city on Earth, and we are trying to defend it from the darkness in order to protect the people that still live here. And the faction vendors, New Monarchy wants to kind of not really impeach, kind of overthrow the Speaker and the Traveler. They don't really care what they have to say. They're not making any progress as it is. We're still confined to the one city, and New Monarchy believes that with a new, stronger leader, that we can take back what is ours. Dead Orbit just thinks, just abandon the system, go find somewhere else, let the darkness have Earth. We'll just go where the wind takes us, and we'll make it on our own. And then you have the future war cult who believes war is imminent. We need to be preparing for fights all the time, and just simple as that. Fighting is way of life. The warrior lifestyle. Live fast, die young, have a good-looking corpse. That's just the way I see it. But none of this is really fleshed out, like whatsoever. Yeah, you can read the Grimoire cards, and they have some pretty interesting stuff in there. But the age that we're in now, the rebuilding phase is which I like to call it because we're trying to rebuild the city, we're trying to rebuild humanity and the lifestyles people had before, and that just seems like a very boring background for a world that's so rich and that looks so good. Just imagine if we were playing 300 years in the past, like in between the golden age and the dark age. We get to see the golden age in its prime. Everything's the sprawling cities, thriving, everyone's doing really well. Advancements in science, like they said, lifespans tripled, all this stuff. We would get to see that, and we'd also get to experience the downfall. Not just seeing what's left, but fighting to protect what we have, building a personal relationship with your guardians, with the NPCs, and with the other players that you're playing with. And that's the main thing Destiny is lacking right now, are those organic personal relationships with the world and everything inside of it. This can be remedied, of course, but they need to provide more backstory, which the base game does not do, unfortunately. Now, if you could go back to the Golden Age and you see the city back where it was and you're playing through the collapse, then you really have something to fight for. You see all these people. Like, I could just imagine the game starting off in the city. You're walking through, everyone's happy, everything's going fine, and all of a sudden you see a fleet of fallen ships, catches, or I think, yeah, catch is what the big ones are. You see a fleet of those flying in, and then you just see hive seeders just bombarding the earth like meteorites. And then you look to your left, the fallen are coming. You look to your right, the hive are coming. And then just everything is just, that's when the collapse begins. All of a sudden, all of your colonies on Venus, the Vex, start coming out of the vaults of glass. As soon as they uncover them, then they're overrun. They overtake the libraries in Venus, the Ishtar Sink, the Collective, all that stuff. And the Cabal completely demolish your civilization on Mars. Everything is taken, and you get to play through all that. You get to fight those battles. Sure, you will end up losing them because, of course, that's set the stage for where this game takes place. But it creates a much more personal relationship because you and your guardian, you fought through. You fought with all of your friends to protect all of these people. And in the end, it just becomes worth it. Because right now, you're fighting for people that you don't know. You have like 10 NPCs that actually have words inside the tower, and that's it. You have no other affiliation with them. You don't know who they were before, or what they've done, or their backgrounds, which I think a prequel could really expand upon and give us a better idea of the world that we have. Now, one game that handled this perfectly, in my opinion, was BioShock Infinite. So, for those of you who don't know, BioShock Infinite, after you complete the game, had the DLC where you could go back to the underwater city of Rapture. Except this wasn't the same Rapture that you saw in BioShocks 1 and 2. This is Rapture in its prime. This is Rapture when everything was, flourishing exactly how Andrew Ryan intended for it to be. Everyone's happy, the arts are unrestricted, people are doing what they want for science. All these great things are happening. But of course, with great things come great responsibility, to quote Spider-Man, of course. And people kind of abuse that responsibility and they don't accept it, and they end up bringing down their own downfall. So it's a little bit different in that sense. They don't have aliens coming in and doing it. But I think the general concept is the same. You have this great city at the beginning, and it becomes awful at the end due through corruption, fights inside, all that stuff. And Destiny sets the perfect stage for it. And in general, I just think that they can make it in a way to where it'll make a lot of sense. But anyway, guys, that was my idea. Just, I'd like to be able to meet Kaber and his fire team who went into the Vault of Glass. I want to see Eris's fire team when they went into to go kill Crota. I want to see and experience the Battle of the Twilight Gap. I want to hear the story of Cade Six when he was on the moon and that fallen Dreg helped him out and he ended up having to kill it. All that stuff. It's really interesting. They just need to do a better job storytelling this next time around. I don't know if they're going to take the opportunity. Hopefully they do. But again, it's all speculation. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know down in the comments section below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I really appreciate the support. I will see you again soon, guys. Thank you.